transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to the Lord, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So, the glories of devotional service are being narrated here. The goal of transcendentalists is being explained in this verse. So, what are the goal of transcendentalists? No. The transcendentalists, they know that Krishna, Lord Krishna, is the original personality of Godhead, which is technically in Laghu Bhagavatam referred as Swayam Rupa. And all the other manifestations of the Lord, like Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Kurma, beginning from actually Baladev and going all the way up to the Purusha avatars, mainly, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, Shirodakshayi Vishnu. And then there are Guna avatars like Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Then Leela avatars, Yuga avatars like Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these are different manifestations of the Lord. They are all Lord Krishna's plenary portion. Plenary portion means, Lord Brahma actually explains in Brahma Samhita, Deeparchir eva hi dashantaram abhyupetya, Deepayate vivrata hetu samana dharma, Yastadra eva hi cha Vishnu taya vibhati, Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He gives example, Deeparchir eva hi, and Deepa means the lamp. If you take one lamp or say one candle, so from one lamp you can, suppose one lamp is burning, from that lamp you burn 100 other lamps or 1,000 other lamps. All those lamps give equal illumination like the original lamp. But yet, original lamp is the source of giving that power to all the other lamps. So Krishna is that original lamp. And he is therefore considered the last word in transcendence. That means there is nothing beyond Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is source of all the incarnations, but there is no source for Krishna. He is the ultimate source. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchid Ananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. Govinda or Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. Because he is Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the source of all the plenary portions, he is the source of all living entities, he is the source of all material and spiritual manifestations. Therefore, here it is referred as, Prabhupada says, last word in transcendence. And, naturally, because he's the last word in transcendence, he's more attractive to the higher transcendentalists. So in transcendental realm also, there are different gradations. This differentiation exists in every realm. It's not that only in the material realm there is differentiation. Even in the spiritual realm, there is differentiation. The difference is, there are different levels of transcendentalists. Sorry. So there are different levels of transcendentalists. Like there are Brahmavadis, there are Paramatmavadis, and there are devotees. And even among devotees, there are a lot of gradations. This whole philosophy that everything is ultimately one doesn't make any sense. Because there is so much variety. even if you take one thing in the material existence, that one thing also manifests a lot of variety. So similarly, in the spiritual world also, there is a lot of variety. Even the Supreme Lord has innumerable incarnations. And all those incarnations manifest different splendor or different opulences. But Krishna is, the comparison is given as like the moon. Moon manifests different amount of illumination on different days. In the waxing moon period, from the first moon day or new moon day to full moon day, there are different opulences of moon are manifested. The moon that we see on the Pratipad, on Dvitiya, on Tritiya, or in Ashtami, or Navami, or on Ekadashi, Chaturdashi. But the moon that we see on Purnima, on full moon day, is actually the moon which exhibits its full illumination. The full opulence of the moon is exhibited on the full moon day. So Krishna is compared with the full moon. And all other incarnations of the Lord are like the moon on other days, other than Purnima day. So still, there's only one moon. Not there are many moons. There's only one moon. Similarly, there's only one God. But the different forms of the Lord manifest only different degree of opulences. So the transcendentalists who are attracted to the form of Krishna, they are considered the topmost or the highest transcendentalist. So in other forms, other than Krishna and Balaram, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as we see in the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Balaram, in Vrindavan especially. The devotees in Vrindavan, they perform very intimate pastimes of Krishna. Like Srimad Bhagavatam. No? And Krishna Kaviraj Goswami also explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita. No? The cowherd boys, they generally tell Krishna, oh, what kind of great man are you? You and me are equal. Saying this, when a friend of Krishna climbs on his shoulder. When Krishna he killed Kamsa in Mathura. When Krishna killed Kamsa, so many cowherd boys, they were sitting in the arena watching Krishna fighting with wrestlers and then ultimately killing Kamsa. So when Krishna was fighting with wrestlers and he killed all the wrestlers with Baladev, Sridhama, one of the very intimate friend of Krishna, he used to always wrestle with Krishna. So he thought, oh, these wrestlers look so powerful and Krishna defeated them. How is it that I was able to defeat him all the time? Maybe Krishna has become more powerful. But just to test whether Krishna has actually become more powerful, he went and he told Krishna, Krishna, you defeated these powerful wrestlers. I want to also wrestle with you. So Krishna and Sridhama, they started wrestling, and Sridhama very easily threw Krishna on the ground and sat on him. And then Sridhama started thinking, oh, he's still same Krishna. He's not grown very strong. That means these wrestlers were not really strong. If Krishna could kill them or Krishna could defeat them, even I could have defeated them very easily. This kind of pastimes are only possible in Vrindavan. Krishna's devotees in Brajbhumi, only they can participate in such wonderful pastimes. Mother Yashoda can pick up the rope and bind Krishna with the ropes. Nobody could ever imagine binding any other form of the Lord. Just imagine Narasimhadev. Who could think of binding Narasimhadev with the ropes? But Mother Yashoda, she's binding Krishna with the ropes. So these are the very intimate, wonderful pastimes of the Lord, which are possible only by the topmost transcendentalists in Vrajabhumi. Krishna's pastimes are eternal, and they are manifested in due course once in Deya Brahma in this material world. They are eternally manifested in the spiritual world, but in the material world they are manifested only during the once the Deya Brahma. Go to text 23. Sattvam rajastama iti prakritir gunastre yukta para purusha eka ihasya dhatte sthiti ade hari virincha hareti samgya shreyamsi tatra khalu sattvatanur nrinamsyu. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. So this is one of the very important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times people argue. They argue that why only we take Srimad Bhagavatam statements or Bhagavad Gita statements. In Shiv Puran, many different places mention that Lord Shiva is the supreme. In different Puranas, it's also mentioned Brahma is supreme. So, in different Puranas, different personalities are considered as supreme. Here, Vyasdev is giving us guidance. What we can consider as absolute. He says here, no? Sthiti ade hari virincha hareti samya. The Supreme Lord, he manifests himself as Hari, that is Vishnu, Virincha, no, and that is Brahma, and Harati. Hara is Shiva, Lord Shiva. So Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. These are the three forms which the Lord accepts for the purpose of, the manifestation or maintenance of the material creation. But Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu. Shreya means the ultimate benefit. Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattvatanur Nrinamsyu. People can attain the highest benefit by worshipping or accepting Sattvatanu. In the first line it says Sattvam Rajas Tama Iti. The Supreme Lord takes the three forms, Sattvam, Rajas, and Tama. Sattvam is Hari, Rajas is Virinchi, and Tama is Hara, that is Lord Shiva. So, among the three, he says, Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattvatanur. Sattvatanur means the form of goodness, that is Hari or Vishnu. So, one can derive the ultimate benefit from worshipping the form of Vishnu, which is the quality of goodness. So, Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purusha Avatara, who is known as Shirodakshai Vishnu or Paramatma. So there are many Vishnu forms. Many people think Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. But Vishnu, there are many Vishnu forms. Brahma is only one. Shiva, there are 11 Rudras. But Vishnu, there are innumerable forms of Vishnu. So this is one of the forms of Vishnu is known as Shirodakshai Vishnu. There is a Shirasagar in this creation. Shira means milk. So Shirasagar means the ocean of milk. So there is one Vishnu who lies in that ocean. In that ocean, there is a huge bed made of Ananta Shesha. The Ananta snake is lying in the form of a snake there, and making a form of a bed there. And Lord Vishnu, who lies on that bed of Ananta Shesha in the milk ocean, he is known as Shira Udakshayi Vishnu. Shira is milk, Udaka. Udaka is, Shira Udaka. Udaka is, the liquid, or you can say ocean in one way. Shira Udakshayi, one who lies in the milk ocean. Shayi means sleeping. Who is sleeping in the milk ocean. That Vishnu, who also expands himself in the form of Paramatma. Paramatma into each and every living entity's heart. So Brahma is the deity of Rajas and Shiva is the deity of ignorance. The creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion. We require passion to create anything. So Brahma, by his passion, he creates. Vishnu, by the quality of goodness he maintains. And when it's time to wind up the universe, it's Lord Shiva who winds up or destroys everything. So Lord Shiva, toward the end of the creation, he performs Tandav, and the whole creation is destroyed simply by his dancing. So integrated forms of Vishnu are called God or Godhead. So the Supreme Lord, he has two kinds of expansions. One is called plenary portions. Others are called separated portions. Swamsha and Vibhanamsha. Swamsha means plenary portions. Swa-amsha. So when the Supreme Lord, he expands as Swamsha, that is another form of Vishnu. So when Vishnu has a Swamsha, there will be another Vishnu only. But when Vishnu has a Vibhina Amsha, that is Jiva, or living entity. So all of us, we are actually Vibhina Amshas. We are separated parts of the Supreme Lord. Eternally separated. Not that sometime we merge in him and sometime we are separated. No. Separated means we are eternally separated from him. And these separated parts, they form two major categories. Now, they are divided into two major categories. One is called Nitya Siddhas, and other is called Nitya Baddhas. So Nitya Siddhas are the living entities who live in the spiritual world eternally with the Lord, engaging in his pastimes. And Nitya Baddha are the living entities who live in this material existence. All the living beings in the material world, they are called Nitya Baddha. So Supreme Lord, Vishnu, he's the deity of goodness, and one can derive the topmost benefit by worshipping the form of goodness, that is Vishnu. Text. Okay. So this material world is compared to a prison house. All the Nitya Baddha, or the Jivas who are separated from the Supreme Lord and are in the category of eternally bound, those living entities are sometimes subjected to the control of material energy. That means they are subjected to the material existence. But Vishnu forms, they are always controller of material energy. Living entity can be subjected to the influence of Maya. Lord Vishnu is always the Lord of Maya. When Vishnu appears in this material world, he appears to deliver the conditioned souls. But when living entities appear in this material world, they are under the influence of material energy. Just like a prisoner in the jail, he is under the stringent laws of the jail. But when a king visits the jail, he may appear like any other person in the jail. He may appear to be also bound by the laws of jail, but he's not. Even if the king takes apparently the dress of a prisoner and comes to the prison house, he still is always free. He can walk out whenever he wants. So prison house of material nature or material world is created by Brahma under the instruction of Vishnu, or the personality of Godhead. And at the conclusion, at the end of every day of Brahma, it is Lord Shiva who destroys everything under the instruction of Krishna again. So anyone who wishes to get out of the prison house, which is full of miseries of repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease, he must please Lord Vishnu, must take to the worship of the deity of goodness, that is Vishnu. The Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only. So demigods, they are also worshipped. The people in this world, they also worship demigods, but the demigod worship can give only temporary relief from the miseries of material existence. So this is 7th different. We go to the text 24. Parthiva daruno dhumas tasmad agnis tarimaya tasma tamasastu rajas tasmad sattvam yad brahma darshanam. Firewood is transformed to earth, for transformation of earth. Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood. And the fire is still better, for by the fire we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, that is tamas. But goodness is the best, because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. Now this is actually a continuation of the previous verse, because previous verse was talking about the three deities of the goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the conclusion was given that the deity of goodness is best. So here, with the example is being explained why goodness is actually best. So in this world, you can find everything is categorized in three modes. Everything is under the category of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So one example given here is the fire and the wood. So if you take the wood, which is nothing but the transformation of earth. So the firewood, when you start burning it, the first thing generally the wood produces is smoke. Even if it is dry wood, some smoke does comes out. If it is wet wood, a lot of smoke will come. But when you burn the wood, some smoke comes up, and eventually the fire is ablaze. So there are three things here: fire, smoke, and firewood. We know the firewood, if it is there alone, we can't really do anything from just firewood alone. Like, for example, in ancient time, nowadays, of course, everybody uses electric or, gas for cooking. But in ancient time, they would use the firewood for cooking. Even if you go to, Mayapur or some villages now also, they use the firewood for cooking. So firewood you can use for cooking. But simply having firewood at home doesn't really serve any purpose unless you actually ignite the fire and the firewood starts burning. So when firewood starts burning, when the smoke comes, smoke is certainly better than having the raw wood, because smoke means some heat is being generated. But smoke is a lot of inconvenience. But smoke is definitely better than just having firewood, which is just lying cold firewood. Because from smoke you can ignite the fire, and on the fire you can cook. You cannot cook the food in the smoke. And you certainly cannot cook the food simply by keeping on top of the wood, the cold wood. So fire is definitely better than smoke, which is better than firewood. So similarly, if we compare to the deity of goodness, passion, and ignorance, Brahma, who is considered in charge of mode of good passion. So quality of passion is something is created. So that in that sense, it is better. It is better to create something than to simply destroy, keep destroying everything. Like, for example, of course, the role of Lord Shiva is also very significant in itself. But here, the comparative studies being done. The quality of passion is better than ignorance, but goodness is actually best. So through the fire example, we are understanding that fire ablaze is actually very beneficial, because from fire we can cook the food, from fire we can perform the yajnas. It is only the fire which is burning in the Havan Kund. When you start offering oblations, there is some use of it. Simply wood is lying in the Havan Kund and you offer the oblations, it has no value. You won't get any benefit. Similarly, the smoke is coming. You don't see the fire, but only smoke is coming from the Havan Kund. And you offer the oblation in there. That will also have no benefit. So when the fire is placed and then you offer oblations, then there is some benefit. So the quality of goodness is considered the best. So one has to rise to the platform of goodness, sattva, so that one can be eligible for devotional service to the Lord. People generally, the influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, cannot take to the Vishnu worship. Even from the platform of tamas, one can gradually rise to the platform of goodness. But of course, it requires the guidance, expert guidance of a spiritual master. So it doesn't matter. It's not that because I'm not on the platform of goodness, I feel that I'm very much in the mode of passion or ignorance. Doesn't matter. From any stage of existence, we can rise to the platform of goodness by following the instructions of spiritual master. So to consider that the worship of any quality or any form of the Supreme Lord is equally beneficial is a mistaken idea. So to consider that whether you worship Brahma, Vishnu or Mahesh is all same, that's not true. As per these two verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is definitely not true. Especially the verse 23 and 24 are making it very clear that all forms of worship is not same. Except Vishnu, all forms are separated, being manifested under the conditions of material energy. They cannot help anyone to rise on the platform of pure goodness. Only the Supreme Lord Vishnu is situated on the platform of pure goodness. He can help others to rise above the modes of material nature and be situated in the transcendental goodness. Therefore, worship of Lord Vishnu is considered most beneficial. That is the platform by which a person can attain the true benefit, of studying the Vedic scriptures and following the rules and regulation of Vedic scriptures. So with this, we can actually stop here. If anyone has any questions, may I ask?
So, Prabhuji, about Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Padas. So, can Nitya Pada can become Nitya Siddha with the devotional practice? Back to Godhead means like they are Nitya Siddhas, or they are like.
I didn't get it.
So you were talking about the Jivas, right? The Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So can Nitya Baddhas become Nitya Siddhas in the long run when they go back to Godhead? Are they called Nitya Siddhas or they have their own identity?
No. The Nitya Baddhas are the living entities who are in the material world. So when the living entity in the material world perfects his life and goes to the spiritual world, he also becomes Nitya Siddha. Technically, that person is called Sadhana Siddha, but once going back to the spiritual world, he also becomes Nitya Siddha.
Thank you.
Any other questions?